Meet Jolene, a young and energetic girl who spends her weekends travelling around Singapore for the latest sales. She would love to own a car, but the rise in COE prices is preventing her. What can she do? Fret not. With Magic Car, Jolene can drive without owning a car. With the Magic Car mobile app, she can easily find and rent the nearest car available, unlock the car with her Magic Card, and start driving. It is that simple. Magic Car is inspired by ZipCar, an on-demand car rental service successful in North America and Europe. It promotes convenient, cost-efficient and environmentally friendly transport in town, reaching out to urbanites who need a car but do not want to own one. Since Singapore shares three similarities with Boston, namely dense population, high cost of owning a car and little need to drive, ZipCar's model can be applied in Singapore. The industry also shows favourable prospects, with the government encouraging car sharing, rise in COE prices, and new communication channels such as smartphones that require new ways to engage customers. We further identified three customer segments: the locals, corporate clients, and tourists, and we choose based on two criteria: consumer demand and degree of competition. Corporate clients make up the bulk of the consumer demand. As a new entrant, your company needs to tap onto this segment in order to grow. However, this segment is highly competitive, with top 5 players commanding a 47.3% market share. To avoid head-on competition, your company should diversify its revenue streams by looking at niche and growing segments like the local consumer market. Therefore, by evaluating the consumer demand and degree of competition in each segment, we will be targeting local consumers and corporate clients as they drive the demand in the industry. Your goal is to be sustainable and have sustainable growth. Assuming a payout of 0, sustainable growth is dependent on ROE. Affecting any of the components of ROE will affect sustainable growth. Presently, there are two barriers standing in your way. Number 1, the threat of competition, and number 2, a high cost structure. Given the huge threat of competition, we need to differentiate ourselves via cost leadership. ZipCar's high cost structure due to car ownership would not be financially sustainable in Singapore due to the high cost of car ownership. Overall, this means that ZipCar business model cannot be entirely replicated in Singapore, and we need to modify our business model. There are 4 alternatives, and we have decided the B2B and C2C are most suitable for your company. We have evaluated the various alternatives based on 3 criteria derived from ZipCar's value proposition: cost, availability, and environmental impact. ZipCar's existing business model is B2B and B2C, but is not viable for your company to adopt ZipCar's model entirely. This is because there will be a high sunk cost which will take your company 5 years to break even. The best option is to complement ZipCar's business model with a C2C model, because firstly, sunk cost is avoided. Secondly, availability would be high as cars are supplied by the community. And thirdly, it is more environmentally sustainable because it reduces more cars on the road than ZipCar's B2B and B2C models. Combining these 2 business models, we present to you our co-op strategy, which stands for community car sharing and optimizing used cars. Our value proposition aims to bring about convenience, cost efficiency, and eco-friendliness. To comply with Singapore's private car rental law, we will be targeting locals on weekends. For both car renters and car owners, membership will be free. All car owners have to do is to contribute to the installation of the black box technology. Car renters can utilize the GPS in the mobile app to locate the nearest car. Each car can also be rented at a cheap rate of $16 per hour. To be more environmentally sustainable, for every car rented, $2 will be donated to a non-profit organization to further engage in carbon offset programs. To make it more exciting for subscribers, your company can turn the referral into a gain. Suppose now Jolene is a car owner. If Jolene manages to bring in new subscribers, she can enjoy a greater profit sharing of up to 90%. She can even get badges and get listed on the leadership board for recommending the most number of people. Why will gamification work? It will work because it generates word-of-mouth influence by making the activities fun and stimulating. It challenges people to short-term and attainable targets, reward positive behavior, and recognizes best practices. Further, how does this lead to a sustainable growth? Since community sharing reduces the number of assets that Magic Car must have, and that whatever it earns as commission is pure profit, this leads to a higher ROE and thereby a higher sustainable growth rate. Our second strategy is to optimize used cars, targeted at corporate users on weekdays. We will be purchasing second-hand luxurious cars that have a remaining of 1 to 2 years COE lifespan. Employees of partnering companies can have access to the cars that are located at various business parks around Singapore. So how does this lead to sustainable growth? Instead of getting new cars, 12 used cars are purchased. This reduces the asset Magic Car can potentially have. Furthermore, since used cars have shorter lifespan and is cheaper, it reduces costs, thereby raising net income, leading to a higher ROE and higher sustainable growth rate. In the long term, we will focus on improving the environmental impact of Magic Car. We will roll out 2 initiatives. Firstly, we will be providing a more favorable profit sharing to eco-friendly car owners. This encourages more eco-friendly car owners to free up their cars for rental. Secondly, we will improve our carbon offset scheme through our Green Miles campaign. To participate, car rentals like Jolene can use the odometer to calculate the distance they travel every day. Then, calculate the carbon footprint and donate the dollar amount required to offset the carbon produced. Our plan has positive impacts on 3 stakeholders: the local firm, government, and community. In essence, we provide savings in terms of cost and time, while pursuing an environmentally sustainable venture. Now, we come to the part of the financials of Magic Car. What's the startup cost required? And how will the allocation of resources be done? We have done a financial projection of the various expenses required. Overall, your startup cost will be as shown. Next, we will look at sales projection, and based on the 12 cars acquired and an average of 50 cars available for car sharing, we factored an average of 50% utilization rate. This resulting sales projection for car rental is over 360,000 and 570,000 for peer-to-peer car sharing. Resulting sales projection for subsequent years are based on 5% sustainable growth rate as we calculated. Based on the base year, the break-even period required is 10.4 months. Even in the worst case, it requires only slightly more than 1 year to break even. This shows that Magic Car is a financially sustainable business to embark on. Our carbon offset programs will generate 16,000 every single year to fund carbon reduction projects. The key benefit is that with every car shared, 12 cars will be taken off the road. This translates to savings of 4,800 tons of carbon, which is equivalent to planting 24,750 trees in a year. This is an implementation plan on how we are going to phase out Magic Car's co-op strategy as well as the long-term plans. We have identified the various possible risks Magic Car could face and will be focusing on the 3 more important risks as shown. For the 3 main risks as follows, we have identified the trigger points as well as the possible mitigation actions that you can take. In conclusion, your target is sustainable growth. By standing in your way are 2 key issues. As such, we present to you our co-op strategy, with an expected payback of 10.4 months and reducing 4,800 tons of carbon. This brings us to our ultimate question: where will you be? And we say that you will be on the path to become greener and financially sustainable.